What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Izzy Reacts. And on this episode, I had intended to talk about the WWE ESPN streaming deal, the landmark streaming deal, and what that all entailed and all that good stuff. But we'll have to save that for another time because something much more important went down in the world of professional wrestling last week, almost a week to the day. And of course, I'm talking about uh, the return of a pioneer of the Divas era in the WWE and in women's wrestling in general, the one and only AJ Lee. So to set the scene, you have to go back to you have to go back to this year. As a matter of fact, Seth Rollins and CM Punk have been feuding the majority of this year. It started at Survivor Series when CM Punk returned about 2 years ago at this point almost, and then CM Punk would go into a feud with Drew McIntyre, but then they would slightly cross paths. But now this year they have been feuding for the entire year. They've been in cage matches, regular matches, tag team matches, triple threat matches, any combination of matches that you can think of. They've been in together, and most recently, Seth Rollins essentially robbed CM Punk of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, and then at Clash in Paris during the Fatal 4-Way match with Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, and Seth Rollins. CM Punk had Seth Rollins beat, but Becky Lynch came out and helped CM Punk. And I think I said in that video that if this leads to the return of AJ Lee, that would be very interesting. And sure enough, it did. I will leave my Clash in Paris review at the end of this video so you can see it, and I will leave the footage of the return of AJ Lee at the end of this so you can see it. Obviously, I can't show it to you during the video because then that would lead to a copyright strike on the channel, and we sure don't want that. But anyway, you will get to see the footage. Just stick around at the end of the video when you hear my not so handsome voice finish talking. But anyway, no. Yeah. So what a scene it was in Chicago last Friday night. Now Seth Rollins had introduced Becky Lynch, and basically she was running down the Chicago crowd, a typical heel promo, and CM Punk came out and said, this has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with your husband who's hiding in the crowd. And yeah, Seth was watching from the crowd, as you'll see in the footage. But but Becky antagonizing him, said, "Hey, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna put your hands on a woman, right, right, right?" And kept slapping him and all that. And CM Punk gets out of the ring and says, you know me, I'm not one to put my hands on a lady, but I know somebody who will, and therefore leads to the return of AJ Lee, man. And AJ Lee absolutely came out to one of the biggest crowd reactions I've ever seen, or as it's called in the wrestling business, a pop. So AJ Lee comes out and absolutely destroys Becky Lynch and sends Seth and Becky running to the back. And two power couples will face off in a mixed tag team match at the upcoming WrestlePalooza pay-per-view on September 20th, which is the first pay-per-view to stream on the new ESPN service service. But man, AJ Lee coming out, man. You like this is a lot of people say in the wrestling business never say never, and that rings true for anything, and not just in the wrestling business but in real life too. So man, what an awesome moment it was. Even though you kind of saw it coming with everything going on with Becky and CM Punk, but man, still very very cool to watch. And AJ looks just as good now as she did back then, even better. But man, can't wait to see her return to the ring at WrestlePalooza. It's gonna be amazing. And as on multiple credible news sources reported, wrestling news sources reported online that she has indeed signed a multi-year contract. So this is not a full-time contract. So this is not just a one-off match and a one-off appearance for AJ. So let's see. Let's see, back in the Divas era, they weren't getting a lot of TV time with matches, and by the time the women's revolution hit, where women were getting matches in main events and stuff like that, AJ was gone from WWE. So it'll be interesting to see how she fares. Where in this era, where women get a lot more TV time and everything like that. And think of all the dream matches that AJ can have now. She can face Rhea Ripley. She can face Charlotte Flair. She can face Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, uh, Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane. Um, let's see who else. Who else? Even a matchup with her and Chelsea Green would be amazing. Just Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, just the list goes on and on and on. Uh, but remember, like reason why I mentioned these a lot of these women is because Charlotte Flair when AJ Lee was kind of in her prime and ruling the Divas division. Charlotte was still in NXT, so and yeah, ever since AJ left, Charlotte has become huge, and so has Becky Lynch and Bailey and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see all of those matchups and more. Maybe go down to NXT, face Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe and just Roxanne. Well, oh my God, how can I forget Roxanne Perez? She's on the main roster, of course, but how can I? That's mommy and daughter fighting. Not literally. They're not literally related, but Roxanne calls AJ mommy and CM Punk daddy, like her wrestling parents, as so to speak. But man, that's gonna be a really interesting matchup. But man, so cool to see AJ Lee back, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Anyway, that is gonna do it for this episode of Izzy Reacts. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And of course, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.